Howdy y'all, and welcome. Before we get into the Memorial Day forecast, let's go ahead and recap this past weekend's severe weather outbreak which occurred in the Midwest and Southeast. We can see that over 52 tornadoes occurred, killing at least 28 people, including 5 in the greater St. Louis area. On May 16th, I caught a wall cloud which actually came from this Illinois storm. It was something cool to see, and here's a photo of it and a little video as well. So that was pretty cool. It was actually my first wall cloud I ever caught. Came from an EF0 to EF2 tornadic storm in Greene and Monroe counties earlier that night. So that was cool to see. Now, as we get into the survivor accounts, there was actually a tornado in London, Kentucky, as there was actually 2 EF4 tornadoes on May 16th. One over by St. Louis and another one down in London, Kentucky. It was actually an EF3 at first, but they found some EF4 damage, so they got a pretty big tornado that night, and there was not much warning time out there. Most people were in bed at that time, and there was a lady called Shawn Cupp that learned that her home on Philpott Road was leveled by the tornado on May 16th after she came home from work. And another survivor, Amanda Simmons, endured a storm in her apartment with winds shattering windows and ripping off her roof, which you can see why May is peak tornado season. And we're going to be coming in on hurricane season very soon as well, so if this severe weather season says anything about what hurricane season is going to look like, then buckle up, y'all, and for a wild ride. In this tornado season, there's actually more tornadoes than last year, so it's very surprising. We can see enso neutral years are typically pretty big years. And there was also tornadoes that occurred on the 18th all the way into the 21st as well, but nothing like it was on the 16th, so we can see Mother Nature's wrath here in May. Now, one last thing before we get into the forecast. There was actually a significant tornado that occurred on this day, an EF5 tornado in Joplin, Missouri at 5:41 in the evening on May 22nd, 2011. This EF5 tornado brought winds of 260 miles an hour, leveling a 6-mile path, leaving 158 dead and over 1,100 injured. Almost $3 billion in damage, right around $3.7 billion today. What caused this massive twister was a humid 75-degree day and 150 mile an hour jet stream, which created this monster of a tornado on May 22nd. Fun fact about this twister is there was a hospital x-ray machine that flew 2 miles, landing intact. Staff called it the ghost scanner, so we can see why May is peak tornado season, y'all. Now, as we take a look at the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for the next 7 days, we can see there is going to be some severe weather, but I'm not thinking it's going to be anything like this past weekend. As you can see, there's a slight risk today, tomorrow, and even on Saturday as y'all are getting ready for Memorial Day weekend. Look at today, looking like all hazards are going to be possible, mainly a hail threat though, so please be aware of this. If anything, you don't want damage from hail. Tomorrow, I'm expecting just hail and high winds, and on Saturday, as Memorial Day weekend gets underway, you can see there is a slight risk here in the central part of the country, surrounded by a marginal risk in the shape of a dinosaur, so that's pretty funny. But be aware of some stormy weather here to start off Memorial Day weekend, y'all. Let's go ahead and get into the forecast for that. To take a look at this, we're going to take a look at the GFS model. This is our long-range model. It takes us all the way out into the next couple of weeks, so keep in mind that anything over a week is virtually impossible to forecast, so please take this forecast with a grain of salt. Now, of course, we already know about the severe weather threat today here in the central part of the country. Please be hyper weather aware. If a tornado warning goes off, seek shelter in a basement, closet, interior room would be just fine. Get away from a trailer. And of course, the Northeast is going to be coming in on a lot of rainfall. They're calling this a nor'easter up there, so be prepared for a lot of heavy precipitation for quite some time. As we head into Memorial Day weekend, it's looking like it's going to be pretty soggy here in the central part of the country. Soggy in the Northeast, very dry down here in the Southwest and parts of the Northwest, and a little bit dry down here in the Southeast, unless you live down here in Florida and along the coast of the Carolinas in the Mid-Atlantic region. And I will have an accurate region by region breakdown of Memorial Day weekend here in a little bit, so you can prepare for those get-togethers, the cookouts, camping, and honoring our veterans, because freedom is not free, y'all. And you can see here on Saturday, you're going to be coming in on some pretty significant severe weather here in Oklahoma, Missouri, and Arkansas. And on Saturday into Sunday, really much of the same story. We're going to be coming back into a very soggy pattern again here in the central and a little bit of the eastern part of the country. And if you're heading out to the Indy 500, I actually got the forecast for that. It's going to be the 109th running of the Indy 500, by the way, on Sunday. Expect cloudy conditions with 40 to 60% chance of rain. Temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 60s. Lows are going to be in the low 50s. So if you're heading out early to the track, make sure you pack a jacket and an umbrella, because it's going to be pretty chilly to start the race and pretty rainy, but then it's going to get a little bit humid out there. And these conditions could obviously impact race strategies and safety with the potential rain delays looming, so the race could be delayed. Now, they're predicting that Alex Pillow in the Honda is going to win with 92 odds over Joseph Newgarden. She has 11-1 odds. My pick is Joseph Newgarden because I'm Team Chevy. I like the Chevrolets, but you never know. Hondas could sneak out a win, unfortunately. We shall see, y'all. And the milk tradition stems back to 1936 when Louis Meyer drank buttermilk per request. The Indiana Dairy Association offers whole 2% or skim milk, with drivers pre-selecting their milk. Joseph Newgarden chose whole milk last year, and if Alex Pillow wins this year, he'll join 88 years of tradition. Broadcast to 5 million viewers. And as you can see in the background here, there's a vintage milk truck chasing an Indy car. That's pretty funny. Back to the forecast here, you can see that on Monday, Memorial Day, y'all are going out to pay tribute to those who gave it all to protect the freedoms we take for granted each and every day. Expect some soggy conditions still here in the central part of the country, down into the southeast. A little bit of rain up here in the northwest, but dry in the south parts of the Midwest and northeast, and a little bit of the northern plains as well. And expect it to get really soggy as y'all are heading back to work on Tuesday here in the eastern part of the country, but I'm not expecting any sort of severe weather. I'm expecting that to calm down a little bit. Still dry here in the southwest, northwest, but looks like we could be dealing with some heavy rainfall down here in the southern plains, down into southern Alabama and Georgia area. And of course, the further we go out, the more uncertainty there is. But I'm expecting it to be very soggy out east while it's still going to be dry out west. Some snow up here in our 51st state in Canada. I would just expect a lot of rainfall here in the central and eastern part of the country as we head into the end of the month. So prepare for that. And you can see there is a little spinny roo down here out by the Baja of California. So that's something interesting. As we take a look at the National Hurricane Center, I know this scene's not completely done yet, so please bear with me. I'm going to put a social media graphic up above here, but we can see in the Atlantic, hurricane season starts on June 1st. I will have my hurricane video out possibly tomorrow or maybe the next day. I'm actually completing that today after I get this video done. See the Eastern Pacific, there is a pretty good chance of tropical cyclone formation. As shown on the models, there's going to be a spinny roo here at the end of the month and potentially the beginning of June. So be aware of this if you live in the Baja of California. Hawaii, I wouldn't be too concerned just yet. Pretty quite a ways out there. So hurricane season could be a big one, y'all. So stay tuned to tomorrow's video. And with a lot of precip expected here at the end of the month, they only have a slight risk issued down here in southern Texas and parts of Louisiana, but I'm expecting it to be very soggy here, central and eastern part of the country, and dry in the southwest. Spotty showers in the northwest, heavy rain in the northeast in May, but being in June is going to be starting to dry out up there. And if we take a look at the experts at the Climate Prediction Center, they're actually in disagreement with this, as they're showing the Ohio Valley, Midwest, you're all going to be in a below average pattern as we head into the end of the month, which could happen. We could be coming in on some relief from the rain, but I'm expecting it to be very soggy here in the central, in the southeast and northeast. As you can see here, the southern half down into Florida, up into the northeast, is going to be very soggy, while the northern half is going to be very dry unless you live up here in the northwest. So be aware of that, y'all. Head into the beginning parts of June. Much of the same story, really. I mean, much of the southern half of the country is going to be above average. Northeast is going to start to dry out. It's what the near normal means. Near normal means either above or below average. I'm expecting it to be soggy to end May, but we're going to dry out to start June. And it's looking like the northern half of the country is going to be heading off into a drying pattern as well, which we do need it here in the Ohio Valley. We've been coming in on endless rain here for the month of April and May, so that's well needed. And as we take a look at the drought map, hopefully y'all can see this very well, but see the southwest coming in on some exceptional drought conditions. Down here by Florida, y'all are dealing with some dry conditions as well, but don't worry. I'm coming in on some drought relief for this area. But down here in the southwest by Arizona, I'm not expecting any sort of drought relief for y'all, unfortunately, so fire conditions could worsen down there. Here in the northern half, from Montana down into Iowa, some drought conditions could occur, but I'm expecting some soggy conditions down by here by Oklahoma, down into the southeast to end the month of May. Now, of course, I will have a regional breakdown here in a little bit to sum it up for y'all and simplify it to hopefully make it sense for y'all. Now on to the temperatures, since I'm sure y'all are curious as to why it's been getting a little chilly here in the northern half of the country. And why that is because we have what's called an omega block. Basically, it's where we have a major ridge taking hold all the way up into our 51st state in Canada. And we got a couple troughs in the eastern and western part of the country. And here's what I'm meaning by omega block. Hopefully y'all can see this very well. It's very blurry, but we see a major ridge taking hold in the central part of the country, bringing those warm temperatures all the way up into our 51st state in Canada, and cool conditions in the eastern and western part of the country. And that's pretty much what we got going on here as we head into the end of the month. Expect chilly conditions here in the northern half of the country. Very hot conditions down here in the southern half of the country, especially down here by Texas, where 100-degree temperatures are going to be in store by this weekend. So make those weekend plans accordingly down there. I would, if you want to brave the heat, be my guest. But if you're a pansy and don't want to be out there, which I don't blame you, then make sure you put those Memorial Day plans inside, of course. And as we move past Memorial Day weekend, still going to be chilly in the northern half of the country. So be aware of frost. I wouldn't worry about too much, especially with it being late May. But if you live up here in the upper elevations of the Rocky Mountains, Wisconsin, Michigan, Northeast, please be aware of frost up there. Monitor frost conditions. Plan anything, but expect a warm up though as we head into the end of the month. So basically, we're going to be going from an omega block where it's hot in the central part of the country and a little bit cool in the eastern and western part of the country. Once we get past that, expect it to really start to warm up as we head into the beginning parts of June. As you can see, we're going to warm up drastically, y'all. As the old saying goes, we go from winter to summer here in the United States, especially in the Ohio Valley. Now, as we take a look at the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook by the experts at the Climate Protection Center, from the 27th all the way into the 31st, basically the end of the month, we can see that pretty spot on with that, as the central and eastern part of the country is going to be way below average unless you live down here in Florida, and the western part of the country, Alaska, y'all are going to be below average, and Hawaii, you're going to be above average as well. Head into the beginning parts of June, expect the warm air to start shifting eastward, as warm air is going to be felt all the way up here into the northeast, but still going to remain below average, surprisingly, down here from Texas up into the Ohio Valley. But what I'm expecting is basically cool to end May, but I would expect the beginning of June to start to warm up drastically, as we're going to come into pretty much from winter to summer temperatures. Pretty much. And Alaska and Hawaii, I know I didn't cover y'all much in this video, but we'll cover y'all in the regional breakdown. Let's go ahead and get into the Memorial Day weekend weather breakdown. After this, I will cover the lives lost during combat, and I'll have a little story out as well. So let's go ahead and cover region by region what y'all could expect. In the Northeast, I would expect temperatures ranging from the mid-60s to low 70s. Saturday may bring scattered showers, particularly in upstate New York and New England, with cooler conditions in the higher elevations. By Monday, rain is likely impacting areas like New York City and Boston. Coastal areas may experience fog, while mountainous areas could see increased precipitation. So in the beaches, Saturday offers a moderate opportunity for beachside barbecues, though light showers may interrupt. Monday's rain suggests indoor alternatives though. The mountain regions, I would expect in the White Mountains and Adirondacks. Camping is feasible on Saturday with waterproof gear, but Monday's wet conditions may necessitate shelters or cabins. Grilling is best planned for earlier in the weekend. Regional areas like Hudson Valley, Finger Lakes areas, outdoor activities are possible on Saturday, but rain on Monday may limit gatherings, so covered venues are recommended for barbecues. So assess where grilling and camping on Saturday provides a window of opportunity for outdoor events, particularly in coastal or lower elevation areas, but Monday's rain requires contingency plans, so prepare for variable conditions with rain gear and flexible scheduling. Basically, Memorial Day weekend's going to be a washout in the Northeast, what this is looking like. Mid-Atlantic, expect temperatures ranging from the low to mid-70s with partly cloudy skies on Saturday and on Sunday. Monday brings increased chances of rain and thunderstorms, particularly in the Chesapeake Bay area. The Blue Ridge Mountains may see showers through the weekend. The beaches, Virginia Beach and Ocean City, on Saturday and Sunday are suitable for beach barbecues, with mild temperatures and manageable humidity. Monday's storms may require indoor venues though. Mountain regions like the Shenandoah and Blue Ridge Mountains, camping is viable on Saturday with opportunities for grilling. Monday's rain suggests cabins or covered sites for safety. Regional areas like the Potomac River or the Tidewater, early weekend grilling is feasible, but Monday's wet conditions favor indoor or covered settings. So basically, plan beach or mountain activities for Saturday or Sunday with indoor alternatives ready for Monday's precipitation. Coastal areas offer the best conditions earlier on in the weekend, so basically it's going to be a little bit of a washout for the Mid-Atlantic as well. Midwest, expect persistent rain and thunderstorms with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Flash flood risks are elevated in Missouri, eastern Kansas, and northern Texas. The Great Lakes region and areas like the Black Hills will experience wet conditions throughout Beaches like up in Lake Michigan and Lake Erie, rain disrupts beachside grilling plans, make indoor venues or covered patios, which are going to be preferred. Mountain regions like the Black Hills Mountain, camping is challenging due to storms. Saturday may offer brief opportunities for covered grilling, but indoor lodges are safer. Regional landscapes like the Great Lakes and prairies, wet conditions limit outdoor activities with Monday storms necessitating indoor alternatives. So basically, outdoor activities are not recommended due to consistent precipitation. Indoor grilling or rescheduling is advised. So basically, it's going to be pretty stormy in the Midwest this Memorial Day week, unfortunately. Now in the Southeast, I would expect summer-like temperatures in the 80s to low 90s on Saturday and Sunday, particularly in Florida and the Gulf Coast regions. Monday introduces rain and thunderstorms across most areas, though Florida may experience milder impacts. Coastal zones will be humid, and the Appalachians may see showers. So the beaches of Miami and Gulf Shores are ideal for grilling throughout the weekend with minimal rain disruptions. Other coastal regions face challenges on Monday due to storms. The mountain regions like Smoky Mountains and the Blue Ridge Mountains on Saturday and Sunday support camping and grilling, but Monday rain may require sheltered sites or cabins. Regional areas like the Piedmont and the Everglades, early weekend barbecues are viable, but Monday's precipitation suggests covered or indoor venues outside Florida. So basically, Florida's coastal areas are optimal for outdoor activities all weekend. Elsewhere, prioritize Saturday or Sunday to avoid Monday storms with contingency plans for rain. So basically, spotty showers in the southeast with it being very, very humid and hot. South central part of the country, expect hot and humid conditions to prevail with temperatures in the 80s and low 90s. Saturday and Sunday are mostly dry, but Monday brings heavy rain and thunderstorms, particularly in northern Texas and Oklahoma. Coastal areas like Galveston will be muggy and hill country may see showers. And the beaches of Galveston and South Padre Island on Saturday and Sunday are conducive to beach barbecues, but Monday storms may disrupt plans. The mountains and the hills of Texas Hill Country and Ouachita Mountains, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Camping and grilling are feasible early in the weekend, but Monday's rain suggests covered sites or indoor venues. Regional areas like the Gulf Coast or Piney Woods. Early weekend grilling is viable, but Monday's precipitation requires indoor alternatives. So basically, plan beach or hill country activities for Saturday or Sunday, with indoor options prepared for Monday significant rainfall. Great Plains and Rockies, I would expect mostly clear skies with temperatures ranging from the 60s into the 80s. The Rockies may experience isolated thunderstorms, particularly on Monday, while lower elevations remain warm and dry. In the beaches of Flathead Lake in Montana, lakeside grilling is suitable on Saturday and Sunday with minimal disruptions. Monday's mountain showers may affect higher elevations. In the mountains of the Rockies and Grand Tetons, camping and grilling are excellent with clear conditions supporting outdoor activities. Monitor for Monday showers in higher elevations. Regional areas like the High Plains and Front Range, dry conditions favor barbecues and outdoor gatherings throughout the weekend. So basically, in the Plains and Rockies, it's highly suitable for outdoor activities with only minor concerns for mountain showers. Plan confidently for grilling and camping. So it's going to be good in the Great Plains and Rockies for Memorial Day weekend. In the Southwest, it's going to be very hot down there. Summer-like heat's going to be expected with temperatures exceeding 100 degrees in desert areas like Phoenix. Coastal influences keep Southern California cooler in the 60s and 70s. Dry conditions prevail, ideal for outdoor events. In the beaches of San Diego and Santa Monica, coastal areas are perfect for beach barbecues with clear skies and mild temperatures throughout the weekend. In the mountain areas like Wasatch Range, Sierra Nevada, camping is optimal with warm days and cool nights, supporting grilling and outdoor activities. Regional areas like the Mojave Desert and Colorado Plateau can be dry and warm, which is good for the barbecues, though evening grilling is recommended to avoid the peak heat. So basically, the Southwest is going to be an excellent choice for outdoor activities with no significant weather disruptions anticipated, but watch out for the heat down there as y'all don't want to get heat stroke. The Pacific Northwest, expect sunny and warm conditions with temperatures in the 60s and 70s. Areas like Boise and Billings will enjoy clear skies, while coastal regions such as Seattle may experience morning fog but clear afternoons. Beaches of the Oregon coast and Puget Sound, if I'm pronouncing that right as well, Saturday and Sunday are ideal for beachside grilling, with cool evenings requiring light layers. In the mountain regions like the Cascade Range and Bitterroot Mountains, camping conditions are favorable with dry weather supporting grilling and outdoor recreation. In regional areas like the Columbia River Gorge and Willamette Valley, clear conditions make these areas suitable for barbecues and gatherings all weekend long. So basically, the Pacific Northwest offers excellent conditions for outdoor activities with minimal weather concerns. Now, Alaska, expect cool temperatures right around the 50s and 60s are expected in Anchorage, with above average temperatures in southern Alaska. Northern and eastern regions may see increased precipitation, particularly on Monday. In the beaches of Kenai Peninsula, beach grilling is possible on Saturday, though cool temperatures require warm clothing. Monday's rain may limit activities. The mountain regions like the Denali Mountains and the Chugach Range, camping is viable with proper gear, but Monday's precipitation suggests covered sites or indoor alternatives. Regional areas like the Matanska Valley, early weekend grilling is feasible, but rain on Monday may necessitate indoor venues. So basically in Alaska, outdoor activities are possible with preparation for cool and potentially wet conditions. Warm layers and waterproof equipment are required. It's going to be warm and sunny in Hawaii, with temperatures right around the 80s in Honolulu, and a low probability of rain. In coastal and volcanic regions will enjoy stable, pleasant weather. Beaches of Hanuma Bay are ideal for beach barbecues with warm, dry conditions supporting all-day grilling. In the mountain regions, expect excellent clear skies and warm temperatures, perfect for grilling and stargazing. And the regional areas are going to be pretty favorable to support barbecues and outdoor gatherings throughout the weekend. So basically, Hawaii is an optimal location for outdoor activities with minimal risk of weather disruptions. So in summary, the Southwest, Pacific Northwest, and Hawaii offer the most favorable conditions for grilling and camping, particularly in beach and mountain areas. Florida coastal areas are a strong option in the southeast. The northeast, mid-Atlantic, Midwest, and south central regions face significant rain risks, especially on Monday, requiring alternative plans. So now that I covered the Memorial Day forecast for y'all, Memorial Day is actually peak time for grilling and camping. With over 60% of Americans barbecuing, over 7 billion hot dogs consumed from Memorial Day to Labor Day alone. And parks like Yosemite hosting 500,000 campers for an epic stargazing. And did you know over 818 hot dogs are consumed every second on Memorial Day alone? Pretty crazy stat right there. But Memorial Day is more than 3-day weekends, barbecuing, and camping. It's more about those who protect the freedoms we take for granted each and every day. We can see it started out as Decoration Day in 1868 for those who passed away in the Civil War, and it became a federal holiday since 1971. And the next slide's going to be lists of those who passed away from wars from the Revolutionary War all the way into the most recent war, which was the War on Terror. Estimates, of course, vary though, due to incomplete records, especially for earlier wars and non-combat deaths because of diseases, often exceeding battle deaths. And the sources come from the American Battlefield Trust and other sources like the Veteran Affairs. So let's go ahead and get into it here, starting off with the Revolutionary War. Keep in mind, documents are very sparse from that era. You can see 8,000 battle deaths, 25,000 to 30,000 total deaths, 17,000 plus from disease alone, especially in British prison ships. The reason we fought this war is because of taxation. We fought to secure independence from Britain because they were taxing us too much. Remember the Boston Tea Party? And of course nowadays we are taxed to death out here, and we don't do anything about it because we're too busy on our darn phones to do anything about it, yet our government keeps taxing us to death. Our ancestors are up there shaking their heads at us, y'all. But during the Revolutionary War, smallpox was deadlier than combat, killing 10,000 in 1776 alone. The 1.8% battle death rate for 230,000 Continental soldiers and 145,000 militiamen was overshadowed by a 4.5% disease death rate per American Battlefield Trust. Losses equaled 1% of the 2.5 million colonial population, comparable to 2.5 million today. So we can see the Revolutionary War was a deadly war fought to break away from Britain, which was taxing us to death. So we just dumped their tea in the water and beat them up pretty much. Now the next war was the War of 1812. We had 2,260 battle deaths, 15,000 total deaths from disease and accidents. The reason we fought this war is fought to protect the U.S. maritime rights and counter British impressment of American sailors, while also addressing territorial ambitions against British, Canada, and Native American allies. With 35,000 regular troops and 458,000 militiamen, the 2.2% battle death rate was eclipsed by diseases like dysentery, per the VA. The war inspired the Star-Spangled Banner after the British assaulted Washington, D.C. The next war was the Indian Wars from 1817 to 1898. We had 1,000 battle deaths, 1,500 to 2,000 total deaths. The reason we fought this war was fought to secure Western territories for U.S. expansion, often against Native American tribes resisting encroachment, culminating in conflicts like the Trail of Tears and Wounded Knee. For 106,000 troops, the almost 1% death rate included diseases and accidents, with battles like Little Bighorn in 1876. Next is the Mexican-American War from 1846 to 1848. We had 1,733 battle deaths, 13,283 total deaths, 11,550 from disease alone. The reason we fought this war was fought to annex territories like Texas and California, driven by U.S. expansionist policies and disputes over the Texas border with Mexico. For 78,700 troops, the 2.2% battle death rate and 16.9% total death rate were driven by yellow fever and malaria. Disease claimed 85% of losses. And the next one is the next biggest war, which was the Civil War, the Confederates versus the Union. We had 215,000 to 260,000 battle deaths, 620,000 to 750,000 total deaths from the Union. The Union was 365,000, Confederate 260,000 to 385,000, up to almost 1,000,000 deaths during the Civil War. The Confederates fought to preserve slavery in the South, and Unions, they fought to preserve freedom and abolish it, and the Unions won out and did away with slavery, which was done by Lincoln, actually. Now, for the 2.2 million Union and 1 million Confederate troops, the 6.6% to 7% battle death rate and 18.9% total death rate were driven actually by disease, like the typhoid. Gettysburg alone saw 7,000 plus deaths, so we could see that Civil War was one of the deadliest wars in American history. All this to just abolish slavery. Now, the next one is the Spanish-American War in 1898. We had 385 battle deaths, 2,446 total deaths. The reason we fought this war was fought to end Spanish colonial rule in Cuba and the Philippines, fueled by U.S. imperialism and the USS Maine sinking, leading to territorial gains like Puerto Rico. So that's how we got Puerto Rico, y'all. For 306,700 troops, the almost 1% total death rate was driven by malaria and yellow fever, per American Battlefield Trust, with diseases causing 84% of deaths. Now, World War I in 1917 to 1918, pretty short war. We had 53,402 battle deaths, 116,516 total deaths, right around 63,114 from disease alone. Like the flu pandemic was big back then. The reason we fought this war was fought to support Allied powers against German aggression, entering after U-boat attacks and Zimmerman telegram, aiming to ensure global democracy. For 4.7 million troops, the 2.5% death rate included 100 deaths per day, with the 1918 flu pandemic devastating camps. Now, World War II, I know some of my ancestors, family members that fought in this war. From 1941 to 1945, we had over 291,557 battle deaths, 405,399 total. The reason we fought this war was to fight to defeat Axis powers like Germany, Japan, and Italy, for example, after Pearl Harbor, securing global freedom and countering totalitarian regimes. For 16.1 million troops, the almost 2% death rate saw 200 deaths per day, with improved medicine reducing losses versus World War I. Battles like Elsborn Ridge cost 5,000 lives alone. Now, the wars didn't stop there. We had the Korean War afterwards in 1950 to 1953. 33,739 battle deaths, 36,574 total, and over almost 3,000 non-combat. The reason we fought this war was fought to repel North Korea and Chinese communist forces from South Korea, part of the Cold War efforts to contain communism. For 5.7 million troops, the 0.6% death rate included harsh winter losses. Worldwide losses reached 54,246. Another war was Vietnam in 1955 to 1975. America lost this war. 47,434 battle deaths, 58,220 total, 10,786 was non-combat. The reason we fought this war was to fight to prevent South Vietnam's fall to communist North Vietnam. So Korea and Vietnam were fighting communism, part of Cold War containment amid domestic controversy. For 8.7 million troops, the 1.7% death rate was mitigated by helicopter evacuations. Now, the Persian Gulf War from 1990 to 1991, we had 148 battle deaths, 383 total. The reason we fought this war is fought to liberate Kuwait from Iraqi invasion, securing oil resources and regional stability under the UN coalition. For 2.2 million troops, the 0.1% death rate reflected advanced medicine. And the wars didn't stop there, y'all. We had the War on Terror because of 9/11. We had over 5,429 battle deaths, 7,057 total. Iraq had 3,836, Afghanistan 2,352, other wars 869. And I know a few of my friends that actually fought in this war. Now, the reason we fought, of course, to combat global terrorism post 9/11, targeting Al-Qaeda and regimes supporting terrorism with extended operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. You can see we're still fighting over that. And for the 2.7 million troops, the less than 0.1% death rate was aided by medical advances. And if you do want to watch some people that did fight in this war, some veterans, Jocko Willink's a good one. Sean Ryan's show, he's really good. And of course, one of my friends actually, I think, fought in this war. He's a Marine. So all the respect in the world to these guys that fought in that war. I know it's left some scars afterwards, and I know our government really doesn't take very good care of y'all, unfortunately. Now, the total estimated lives lost, we had over 1.2 million to almost 1.4 million for in battle and non-combat, with the Civil War being 50% and World War II being 30% of the deaths alone. Now, disease was the primary killer in pre-20th century wars, while modern medicine reduced rates post-World War II. These sacrifices from revolutionary smallpox camps to Afghanistan's deserts forged our nation, remembered each Memorial Day. All that being known, we all can see that freedom is actually not free. Now, here's a Memorial Day story, The Letter Home. In a small Ohio town on Memorial Day of 1944, the Thompson family gathered at their farmhouse, clutching a letter from their son, Private John Thompson, a paratrooper in the Pacific. Dated May 20th, it described human jungles, sudden monsoon rains, and his dream of joining the town's Memorial Day parade next year. "Keep the flags flying," he wrote, his words brimming with hope. Tragically, John fell in a fierce battle days later, one of thousands lost that spring. On May 29th, 1944, the town held its Memorial Day service under a stormy sky, rain mingling with tears as the mayor read John's letter aloud. It became a beacon of sacrifice, uniting the community. Today, that town still displays John's letter in its Veterans Hall, and each Memorial Day they raise flags in his honor. His words, a timeless reminder of freedom's cost. Fun fact about this is 400,000 World War II letters are preserved in archives like the National World War II Museum, keeping heroes' stories alive for generations. You can see, freedom is not free, y'all. Now on to some wartime weather history from the Revolutionary War to World War II. The Siege of 96. In May of 1781, Nathaniel Greene's Patriots besieged the British at 96, South Carolina. Heavy rains turned trenches into muddy traps, slowing assaults. Soldiers slogged through. Muskets damp, supplies stuck. One wrote, "Mud clung like glue. Every step fought us." British reinforcements arrived, forcing a retreat, with weather as fierce as the enemy. Fun fact, mud delayed the Patriots, letting the British unfortunately hold the fort. Next is the Civil War. The Battle of Spotsylvania Courthouse. May of 1864 saw Grant's Union Army clash with Lee's Confederates at Spotsylvania. On May 12th, at the Bloody Angle, torrential rain made a muddy quagmire. Soldiers climbed over fallen comrades, blood mixing with mud. A Union man said, "Rain fell in sheets. We fought mud and foe." The battle ended without a victor, weather exhausting all. Fun fact, dead piled up, forming a gruesome barrier in the muck. Now, World War I, the Battle of Jutland. On May 31st, 1916, over 250 warships fought in World War I's biggest naval battle. Fog rolled in, hiding ships and sparking friendly fire. Earlier storms grounded German scouts, forcing a risky fight. An officer noted, "Fog hid friend and foe. Signals vanished." The British held the sea, but fog ruled the chaos. Fun fact, it was World War I's only major naval clash, proving weather's might. Last one here, World War II. The Spitsbergen operations. May of 1942, Norwegian ski troops braved Arctic blizzards to disrupt German weather stations on Spitsbergen Key for Atlantic forecast. The snow-snug faces, supplies froze. A soldier said, "Cold was relentless. We skied like ghosts." They succeeded, aided Allied victory, so they took out one of their weather stations down in Germany in that year. Fun fact, these stations shaped war forecasts, making Spitsbergen a hidden hero. Now from wartime events to some late May fun facts and some folklore. We'll get into the end of the video summary here in a little bit. Starting off with the slugs. They're going to be returning here very soon on May 28th. The slugs return from Capistrano Day, a whimsical nod to slugs emerging post-winter, especially in wet regions like Alaska or the Pacific Northwest. Banana slugs up to 9 inches thrive in May's dampness, eating plants and leaving slimy trails that irritate car owners prepping for car shows. In Oregon, last year's wet May saw slug populations surge, with gardeners reporting up to 20% of crop losses. And the next one here is Mirroring in May, rue the day. This superstition warns against May weddings tied to Roman festivals for the dead. Despite fading, some avoid late May nuptial, especially on Memorial Day, for solemnity. In 2023, May weddings were 8% of U.S. totals, versus June's 15%, with couples citing respect for veterans. So basically, it's bad luck to marry in May. Now, strawberry season peaks in late May. Late May is primary strawberry time in the Southeast and Midwest. North Carolina and Ohio farms host U-Pick events, with North Carolina strawberry festivals drawing over 50,000 people in 2024 alone. Now, strawberry output here in the U.S. hit 1.4 billion pounds in 2024 alone, sweetening late May outings. So there's some fun facts for y'all. Strawberry season peaks, Marion May is bad luck, and slugs return, so it's going to be irritating some car lovers out there. Now, some folklore. We already know about the near cast of clout till May is out. Basically, keep winter clothes out until May ends, as cold snaps can still hit. Rooted in English farming, this saying reflects May's volatility. Last year, May frosts in Michigan dropped to 35 degrees, damaging crops. And a dry May and a dripping June bring all things in tune. Dry May sets up bountiful June harvests. Midwest farmers bank on this, as dry late May soils allow corn planting, while June rains yielded $20 billion in crops. Last year, Iowa's dry May led to a record corn yield, echoing this lore, and we could be coming in on a dry late May, potentially, here in the Midwest. Can still change though, so keep that in mind. A red sky at night, sailors delight. Red sky in the morning, sailors take warning. Red sunsets signal calm. Red sunrises warn of storms. Tied to Maritime Day, this lore tracks high pressure systems. Great Lake sailors use it for Lake Erie storms, with last year's red sunrises preceding 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. The last one here, mackerel sky, never long wet, never long dry. Cirrocumulus clouds mean quick weather shifts, common in late May. These fish scale clouds signal fronts, bringing brief showers, then sun. Last year in the West Coast, mackerel skies preceded 0.2 inches of rain, ideal for planning car shows. And speaking of car shows, I did forget to put this after the Memorial Day forecast, but here's some car shows y'all could attend. I'm not going to go through all of these, but basically the Northeast, it's not going to be good because it's going to be raining the whole entire weekend pretty much. The Midwest is not going to be good because of storms, but please watch the radar just in case. In the South, it's going to be good to go in Florida, but not good anywhere else. The West, it's going to be good out there. Alaska, use caution. Hawaii is going to be good to go. I know there's more car shows than this, but here are some of the biggest ones I could find. Kind of like the Ducktail event in September, and we all know Memorial Day is a big weekend for car shows, and I think there's a car show here in southern Indiana called the Riverfront Run in Madison, so if you live down here and you're watching this, get out there and enjoy those car shows and send me any car pictures if you want to, and get that car ready. And I do have a car show video up if you want to watch that, how to prepare your hot rod for car show season. Now, let's go ahead and get into the summary breakdown per region of what y'all could expect. Now, starting with the Northeast, expect Memorial Day weekend to be cool, with temperatures in the 50s and 70s, with scattered showers by Saturday, possibly into Sunday. Partially cloudy on Memorial Day though, so pack a jacket. The week after, it's going to be warming up with temperatures in the 70s and 80s. It's going to be above average. Scattered showers early, especially in New England, but drier by weeks in. Some activities y'all can possibly do this weekend is walk Boston's Freedom Trail to see historic sites, hike the White Mountains in New Hampshire for great views, visit the Finger Lakes in New York for wine testing and lake fun, check out the Liberty Bell in Philadelphia, as it's going to be a pretty soggy weekend, but get out there and enjoy some parades, and it's going to be warm after, which is going to be perfect for hiking in those mountains. Now in the Midwest, expected to be a rainy and stormy weekend with flash flooding possible on Sunday and Monday. Could be a washout though, unfortunately, so stay updated. Could change. The week after, it's going to be in the 70s and 80s, above average. Rain and thunderstorms linger early, especially in the Ohio Valley, with flood risks starting to ease. Some activities you can do in the Midwest: visit the Willis Tower to view the Chicago skyline if you're into that. Shop the Mall of America in Minnesota, where you can shop till you drop. Explore the Ozarks in Missouri for hiking fun and some lakes out there. Ride roller coasters at Cedar Point in Ohio, as really any event this weekend is going to be a washout in the Midwest, so I would advise indoor events if you live in this region. Out in the South, expect hot and dry conditions on Saturday into Sunday with 90-degree temperatures, perfect for pools. Rain and storms roll in by Monday though, with flooding possible. The week after is going to be hot and humid, 80s and 90s. Scattered thunderstorms, especially along the Gulf Coast, but less intense than the holiday weekend. Some activities you can do: tour the Corvette Museum to see some Corvette history, and you can also go to the NCM Motorsports Park. They have their own Corvettes that you can take out and drive around there. We did that a couple years ago, me and my dad did. We took a C7 Stingray and a C8 Stingray around there. I'll tell you, the C8 Stingray is way better. It's a very, very good car. Of course, I'm kind of biased. I like my Corvettes. It's a fun thing to do. You can do it rain or shine. I'd recommend doing it when it's dry on the track low. Now, other than the Corvette Museum and fun Corvette stuff, you can hike the Great Smoky Mountains, go on some scenic trails, visit the Gracelands, that's Elvis Presley's home, relax on Miami or Clearwater beaches. But it's going to be a pretty stormy Memorial Day, but on Saturday and Sunday it's looking to be pretty good, so get out there and enjoy some fun activities like the Corvette Museum and hiking the Smoky Mountains. Out west, expect a Memorial Day weekend to be mostly dry. Some thunder showers in the Rockies though. It's going to be feeling like summer in the southwest, cooler on the coast, 60s and 70s. The week after, summer heat returns in the southwest, 80s and 90s, cooler on the coasts, mostly dry with isolated showers in the Rockies. Some activities you can do out there out west: walk the Golden Gate Bridge if it's safe to do so for iconic views. Visit Yellowstone National Park. That'd be a neat place to visit for geysers. Explore the Grand Canyon. I haven't visited that yet. It'd be a neat place to go. Out in Arizona for amazing vistas. Have fun at Disneyland in California. I know prices have went up over there. Probably wouldn't recommend going there if you're on a budget. So basically the hot weather is going to be ideal for parks. Outdoor adventures and cooler coast is going to be good for any activity really. Now out in Hawaii, I know I don't cover y'all much, but basically on Memorial Day weekend, it's going to be warm in the 80s with some showers. The week after, it's going to be warm in the 80s with moderate humidity, light showers on the east-facing slopes, but mostly sunny. Trade winds keep it breezy, perfect for beach days. And of course, we are in hurricane season out here in the Eastern Pacific, and there is a 50% chance of tropical activity out there by the Baja of California. I'll keep an eye on that for y'all. I don't think it's going to be anything much for y'all to worry about, so I'll keep an eye on it just in case for y'all. Now, some activities you can do out there by Hawaii: visit Pearl Harbor for Memorial Day weekend history, pay tribute to those lives lost at Pearl Harbor. Hike Diamond Head for awesome views. Snorkel in Hanauma Bay for sea life. Join a traditional luau for Hawaiian culture, as it's going to be warm and wet, but it's great for beaches and snorkeling. Alaska, Memorial Day weekend is going to be a mix of sun and rain. Temps in the 50s though. It's going to be a little chilly, but typical late May weather for y'all. The week after, temps are going to be in the 50s and 60s, warmer than average in the south. Frequent showers in the southeastern areas, drier elsewhere though. Activities you can do up in Alaska: take a glacier cruise in Prince William Sound. Visit the Alaska Native Heritage Center in Anchorage for culture. And fish for salmon on the Kenai River. So basically, for Memorial Day weekend, expect severe storms in the central part of the country, spreading to the southeast with 100-degree heat possible. It's going to be cool in the northeast with a possible New England nor'easter. Thunderstorms in Denver, sun in Los Angeles, sunny in Hawaii and Alaska, from rainy southeast to freezing west. Travel will be busy though. 45.1 million travelers are expected to travel. Post-weekend though, expect above normal temperatures in the west, northern plains, and Florida, below normal in the south central U.S., southeast, mid-Atlantic, and Alaska. Precipitation will be above normal in the southeast and Alaska, below normal in northern plains and the Mountain West. Hawaii expects warmer and slightly wetter conditions, and the Indy 500 on Sunday might see rain as well, but the Chevys are set to dominate over the Hondas, with the winter chugging milk, a tradition started in 1933 when Louis Meyer, inspired by pioneer roots, drank buttermilk to cool off, making it a victory staple by 1956. And of course, Memorial Day honors the millions of heroes lost since the Revolutionary War, reminding us, as Ronald Reagan once said in 1982, we owe them a debt we can never repay, because freedom is not free. Expect massive grilling with 818 hot dogs eaten every single second. Fun activities like hiking the Smoky Mountains or even visiting the National Corvette Museum to take the Corvettes around the track fit the weather. So let's celebrate, laugh, and honor those who gave it all to protect the freedoms we take for granted each and every day. So hopefully y'all enjoyed today's video. I know it was a long one, but hopefully y'all enjoyed it. So if you did, hit that like and share button so more folks are informed about the weather. Also leave me some feedback in the comment section down below, as any feedback helps provide you, the viewer, better and more informative content in the future. And also hit that subscribe button with bell notifications turned on, because at Here Williams Weather, we try to make weather forecasting fun and informative. So again, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, regardless rain or shine. Pay tribute to those who gave it all to protect the freedoms we take for granted each and every day. And until next time, great day, y'all, and never stop forecasting.